Do you ever feel like you're a sous chef in the kitchen? Preparing multiple dishes to satisfy everyone's different food preferences?
Next!
If so, then you know how exhausting and time-consuming it can be. Well, today I'm going to show you 3 easy meals that you can make to help you with your health and weight loss goals, as well as being crowd pleasers for the rest of the family too. So let's go check it out. Hey everyone, if it's your first time here, welcome. And if it's not your first time here, then welcome back. My name is Stasia and I'm following a high carb, low fat, plant-based diet, oil-free, based on the recommendations of Dr. John McDougall's book called The Starch Solution. If you would like to get to know me a little bit more and kind of find out how I came across a whole food plant-based diet and why I've chosen it for my own personal health and weight loss goals, then I will leave a link in the description box below to one of my videos explaining my story of how I healed myself primarily eating this way, so I know firsthand the power of a whole food plant-based diet and the results that it can produce. So if you're interested in hearing about that, then the link will be in the description box below, so be sure to check it out. And if you are new to the Starch Solution or just a whole food plant-based diet in general, then be sure to check out my Facebook group. There's lots of support going on there, lots of great discussions. We talk about our successes, about our struggles. So I will post the link in the description box below, so I will look forward to seeing you there. So even though my intro was a little bit exaggerated, I'm sure we can probably all relate to some degree. It's hard sometimes when other people in the house eat different than you. Not only is it extra time and effort, but it's also bigger grocery lists too. In a perfect world, we would all eat the same thing at the same time, the old-fashioned way. In 2021, that's not always possible, but certainly a bonus when we can. And also, once you've found this way of eating and you start to lose weight and you start to just feel really good, it's exciting. So it's normal you want to share the results, you want to share this way of eating with the ones that you love. But let's be real. If we're going to get the spouse and the kids and the other family members on board, the food has to look delicious and taste good. It's not always easy for everyone to transition from their old way of eating, maybe a diet filled with oils and meats and processed foods, to a whole food plant-based diet. So I find the best way to transition from an old diet is to take some of our favorite comfort foods that we used to eat before and just make them into a healthier version on a whole food plant-based diet. And we don't need 1,000 recipes with this way of eating. We only really need a few. But those meals have to be the ones that you really like, not what someone else is eating or meals that you are just trying to choke down. You have to truly enjoy them. So that's where I kind of come in. It's my job to show you guys meals that I have made in this way of eating in hopes that there will be a few that stand out to you that you can add to your weekly rotation. So if you're new here, I really encourage you to check out some of my other videos. I have lots of what I eat in a day videos, recipe videos. I'm always trying to show you guys how I'm eating and how my family eats to show you that a good meal doesn't have to be a complicated one. I'm about to show you guys some of my family's comfort foods that I've taken from my old way of eating and transitioned them into a healthier whole food plant-based way of eating. So I'm curious if any of you have done the same thing. So if so, please be sure to leave them in the comments because I would love to read them, get some new ideas, as well as other people read the comments too, so it can benefit all of us. So again, be sure to drop it in the comments below. Okay, enough chit chat, let's get in the kitchen. Okay, so we are going to be turning this into that. So let me show you how. Although carrot hot dogs don't taste exactly like a real hot dog does, they come pretty darn close. So they are definitely worth trying at least once. Okay, so as you can see here, you just want to start by peeling your carrots regularly. And then after they're peeled, you want to continue to peel them until they're about the same width of an actual hot dog. You also don't want them to be too thick or too thin, as when we're done cooking them, we want them to be soft but firm. So also be sure to smooth out any bumpy parts, as we want it to be as smooth and as close as we can get it to an actual hot dog. Alright, so as I was peeling my carrots, I had my boiling water all ready to go. So when you're done your carrots, throw them in the water for exactly 10 minutes. No more, no less, and they will turn out the perfect texture. So as the carrots are cooking, I'm just putting together a sauce that I'm going to marinate them in afterwards. I will have the recipe for this sauce in the description box below. Alright, so once the carrots are done, you just want to put them in some cold water to stop the cooking process and to cool them down. Next, you want to drain the water, pat them dry, and then we're going to marinate them in our sauce. If possible, try to leave a little bit of sauce for afterwards, because once they are done cooking, then you'll want to coat them again. So as I mentioned before, you want them soft enough so that a fork can pierce through them, but firm enough that they don't fall apart. So from here, you just want to put them in your air fryer for about 10 minutes on 400 degrees. So while those are cooking, I'm going to get my French fries ready. As you can see, I already have them pre-cut and soaking in water. Chopping and soaking them beforehand not only helps you save time, but it actually makes the fries extra crispy. As I've mentioned in my other videos, my new favorite tool for fries is this Starfrit pumpkin slice. This has been such a game changer for me, so it's basically a mandolin with a safeguard so you don't have to worry about those fingers, but it can slice and dice in many different ways and perfect for fries. If you are interested in purchasing one off of Amazon, the link will be in the description box below. So as you can see here, I'm just getting my fries ready by throwing them in a bowl, and then I'm going to add some garlic salt. I personally love garlic salt on my fries, but of course you can add whatever seasonings you like. So that's about it for the fries. Just mix it up really well and then pop it in your air fryer. For me, I usually put it in for about 15 minutes on 400 degrees, and they turn out perfect every single time. Look at all this deliciousness, and no, it's not too good to be true. We are looking at a whole food, plant-based version of hot dogs and French fries, and let me tell you, they tasted just as good as they looked. So the hot dog in the bun was actually for my husband, and the other one was for me. So here, I just pan-fried some onions in some vegetable broth and topping both the hot dogs off with it. And from there, I'm just simply adding our favorite condiments, some ketchup, some mustard, a few green olives, but of course, top your hot dog however you like. Now listen, when I tell you I could literally eat this every single day, I mean I could eat it every single day. This was so good. In fact, my son, who loves his veggie hot dogs, had a bite of my husband's on the bun and he didn't even know the difference. Meals like this make it easier to transition to a whole food, plant-based diet. Eating this way is not about giving up or sacrificing our old favorite foods. It's just about finding new ways to make them healthier. Okay, so I know the hot dogs and fries were pretty exciting, but this one is just as good. We are going to be making a very simple cashew cream mac and cheese. So to start, you just need 1 cup of any pasta. Today I'm using brown rice pasta, but again, you can choose any kind you want. While the pasta is cooking, we're going to get started on the cheese sauce. The recipe will be in the description box below. So that's it. Now we're going to blend it up. As you can see, I'm using my single serving Ninja cup instead of my big blender, just because it's a small amount and I find it much easier. So you want to blend it until it's smooth and creamy and no chunks. And that's basically it. You see how simple this is? So now I'm just adding my rice noodles to a bowl and I'm going to top it off with the cheese sauce. There are a couple of options on what you want to do after this part. You can simply just mix the cheese sauce into the noodles and eat it as is, and it's absolutely delicious just like this. My kids prefer it like this with nothing else added. You can also bake it in the oven for about 10 or 15 minutes if you want the top to be a little crispy. But for me, I always love finding ways that I can add extra veggies into my meals. So there I was just throwing in about a handful of thinly sliced baby spinach, as well as about a quarter of a tomato chopped, and a handful of chopped basil. Oh, this is what really brought the meal together. And then lastly, I topped it off with some finely minced fresh garlic. Doing the voiceover for this is making me want to go make this again right now. It was so good. And talk about flavor between the basil and the fresh garlic and the cheese sauce. Oh my gosh, it was to die for. It is so good. And seriously, it only took me maybe 10 minutes to throw this meal together. I feel like this meal could be eaten either hot or cold, and it would be perfect to make in advance if you want to bring it for your lunch at work. It was just so good. And again, this is a single serving size, guys. So if you're making it for the whole family, just double or triple the batch. I promise you it will be a crowd pleaser. Okay, so this last one I have actually done in one of my much earlier videos as a single serving size, but today I'm going to show you how to make it for the family. And this has been a popular one and is still one of my favorites in our household. I can't show you guys those two other meals without at least showing you a dessert as well. So this is my baked oatmeal pie. So all you'll need are 2 bananas, 2 apples, 2 cups of plant-based milk, and about a quarter of a cup of quick oats. So this is really simple to throw together, and it actually could be eaten for breakfast too if you really wanted. It tastes like the inside of a baked pie. So all you want to do is start by peeling your apples and then thinly slicing them. You can do this by hand or use a mandolin, whichever you prefer. Just try to get them as thin as you possibly can. Preferably you want to use a glass baking dish, so you just want to start by lining the thinly sliced apples on the bottom of it. Next, we are going to be slicing our bananas. You don't have to worry about chopping them very thin. I would say just slice them about the same that you would for a bowl of cereal or oatmeal. And of course, if you can find a banana that's fairly on the ripe side, it's just going to make this dish taste even sweeter. So after you're done slicing it, then you just want to layer it on top of the apples. Also, I want to mention that you can add whatever fruits you like. I've also tried this with frozen cherries and frozen peaches, and it turned out just as good. So again, no hard rules, use the fruit that you like. After adding the fruit, then you're just going to top it off by adding in your quarter cup of quick oats. And lastly, we're going to add our plant milk. So I'm using an unsweetened vanilla almond milk. However, you can also use the sweetened kind if you're not watching your sugars, or if maybe you're making it for the kids and you just want it to be a little on the sweet side. Either will work. When I first started preparing this, I thought I only needed about 1 cup of milk, but it turned out that I needed about 2. You really want a decent amount of milk to cover everything, as it does get absorbed in the cooking process. So because we're not using any fat, it's really the milk that's going to keep this dish nice and moist. So as you can see, I'm just topping it off with some ground cinnamon, but again, feel free to add in any spices that you think would go well with pie. Next, you just want to cover it up with aluminum, and then we're going to pop it in the oven at 375 for about 40 minutes or so. You want the apples to be thoroughly cooked through and there's still to be a little bit of moisture. Some of you might remember from my other videos that this is my absolute favorite snack, so it pairs so well with a peppermint creamy vanilla tea, which I just add a little bit of vanilla almond milk to that. I tell you, this is something also I could eat every single day, and most often I do. It's best to let the oatmeal baked pie stand for about 5 or 10 minutes before eating it because it will further thicken up. And here I'm just topping it off with a little extra cinnamon, and I'm telling you, it is so good. I really encourage you guys to give this one a try. This little treat here will satisfy any sweet tooth, guaranteed. Hey now, hot dogs and fries, mac and cheese, oatmeal pie. Losing weight never tasted this good. For a lot of us, these are classic staples in our old diets, so I knew that I just had to find a way to make healthier versions of the same comfort foods I used to love. Not only are these foods healthy and filling, but they also support us in our weight loss journeys. Like it really just doesn't get better than that. For me, eating this way is not about being perfect every single step of the way. It's about living this lifestyle, this way of eating for the majority of the time and for the rest of my life. And most importantly for me and my family, to do it in a way that feels enjoyable. So I hope you guys enjoyed these recipes today. I hope you try them out, and if you do, be sure to let me know how you like them. And of course, if it's your first time here and you would like to follow along my plant-based weight loss journey and get all my other recipes and what I eat in a day videos, then be sure to hit the subscribe button with the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.